Welcome back. Last video I gave you a little look at the Ripper Blades Galaxy Dueling Blade that they've just designed. And I mentioned in that video that the Galaxy Blade is something they've been doing for a while. I wanted to show you the other variety of Galaxy Blade. Now first off, before I pick this up, let me just mention that their first version of the Galaxy Blade, as I mentioned before, was a flat acrylic blade with sort of a red-black swirl with little stars in it. If you're curious as to how that effect translates or how it's created, we'll be able to see it in the new version as well. In the new version of it, they have changed the shape from sort of a basic flat blade to something a little bit more, I want to say, Arabian looking almost. And Ripper has started to use more than just the black and the red color. You can see that there's some greens and some yellows and some reds in here. This thing is also translating right now into another blade that he's trying out called the tie-dye blade, which is less designed to look like space and more designed just to look like what happens while your brain cells are melting and you're staring at a Magic Eye poster, I guess. But here it is, the Galaxy Dueling Blade. The Galaxy Flat Non-Dueling Acrylic Blade. Let me get the camera a close-up of this, and then I'll talk about what it's made of, and then show it to you with the light on. Alright, now you notice that you can see through this. If you're not familiar with flat acrylic blades at all, then this is kind of a new one to you. I did a video on them, but basically the idea of the flat acrylic means that the light is going to diffuse along the edge and anywhere else that it runs into something that obstructs it. Now the dye in this is going to obstruct it, and there's also small little bits of etching in here that are going to do that as well. So let me go ahead and turn this on. And then a close-up for the camera so that you can see it a little bit better. Alright, so what you're dealing with here is you're dealing with two flat acrylic sheets and some colored dyes compressed in between them to create that sort of swirly effect. Beyond that, Ripper has gone in, and in that last little shot that I showed you, you could see some of those stars that are adorning this whole thing. He's gone in from the outside and he's etched those stars in, much like he usually does with his lightning or other designs that he makes. So what you're really looking at is, well, essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, about four layers of diffusion here. We've got the edge, we've got a layer of stars on this side, layer of stars on that side, and a layer of dye and other material down the middle. So it creates a really neat 3D effect. You can sort of stare at the blade and look past the stars into the color and past that into other stars. So very complicated, very nice. This blade ends up being a lot heavier than some of his others. Let me show you why. Because of those two heavy layers right there, we're dealing with a much thicker blade than we were before in a lot of other Ripper blades. Just to show you a basis of comparison. Here's my Ripper Ninja blade right here, next to a Galaxy blade. And actually, now that I look at it, these really are about the same thickness. I had thought this one felt heavier, but I guess that's just because this one is so much thinner. But yeah, it's a pretty heavy, pretty weighty blade. The The turnabout of that is that the socket right here, both layers go in that, so it's actually more sturdy than some of their other blades that I've got because it's thicker inside the Ripper socket. So very pretty blade, very neat idea. Again, not dual ready. If you're looking for dueling, you need to go with something like this. But this is the other version of the Galaxy, and I'm a big fan of this. I don't know if I quite dig the design. I think I kind of liked it better when it was straight and more plain, but the color variety and the complexity of this thing, this is truly something to behold. So hopefully this has been of use. Quick look at the Ripper Galaxy blade. If you've got a saber that works with this blade shape and you want something that's convention worthy or for a specific like space cosplay, as I mentioned with the other, it doesn't really work in Star Wars universe, but if your costume or your design requires you or would work with the concept of wielding a little chunk of space in knife form, then this is really a neat way to go. Again, hopefully this has been of help, and I'll see you back for more.